Greetings and salutations, my name is JW608, and today I am playing Star Maid. Alright, and what are we gonna do now? Well, I'm gonna build a spaceship. Isn't that what you usually do? Yeah, but... well, yeah, it is. Okay. So, I want to build a spaceship. But I think I'm gonna try to build another fighter. Not quite like the fighter we had before. This one, however, I am going to build some constraints into it. For my own personal challenge. Let's see, we're going to come down here and go boop. Give us a little platform. 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. My own personal challenge is I only use 1,000. Let's see, 10, 10, 10. Well, that's not a fighter anymore. That I'll undo. I can only use. That's too big. And a 5 by 5 by 5 is not going to be near enough. So yeah, I can only use two, let's say 2 5 by 5 by 5s. And we will take out one on each corner and connect them here and here. So this 2 5 by 5, that's 25, that's 250. Can we make it just a little more? 1,000. Reactor size 500. Right, so yeah, let's limit to 500. Let's not do a size thing. I'm going to limit me to 500 power blocks. 300. You know what? That's not very much of a... well, that's not a fighter anymore, 300 power blocks. We're going to go back to the 250. All right. I like that better. 250. That is now my limit of power. I can only use 250 power blocks, but I want to rearrange them. So that's what we're going to do first today is put in our reactor. So the idea is I want to have a cockpit here. See, that's power size 12. You can tell here, right here, reactor power size 12 when you hover over the block. That's going to be 15. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to come like this. I'm going to try hard not to make another mantis. That's 53. Then we're going to run some down this way. Why are you doing the power blocks like this? I don't know. I'm just having fun with it. And also trying to decentralize it. Sort of like, I guess, sort of like the principle of my Nebula class frigate. Having long, drawn-out things instead of tightly compacted blocks that can just get blown to smithereens. Now, let's see. How do I actually want this? No, I don't think I want power in the front. Well, I do want power in the front, but not... You know what? Let's go vertical with it. Oh, no, no, no. No. There we go. Sort of like the cutter. My cutter ship I made. That's 102 power. This is giving me flashbacks to the good old days. What are you talking about? The good old days? Remember Power 1? Those are some times now, aren't they? Power 1, if you don't remember, Let's see. It took. It was like a puzzle game. So in Power 2, you put in these blocks. This will give you what 100 per each. So that's what 4 8. That's 800 power. Well, in Power 1, it didn't count the individual reactor blocks. It instead counted the dimension of the group. So I could take out these, and these 4 blocks would be the same power as these 8. You say, what? And so you'd use a lot less reactors. So pretending you have a box. So this incentivizes having long lines of power instead of chunks of power. Okay, that gave us our 73 or 132. So when I said that reminds me of the good old days, it's doing these long lines, and you didn't have individual groups, individual reactors. You actually had all of them adding together. So the absolute most efficient design was checkerboard lines of power. So if you go back and look at some of my old chips, they would have these huge checkerboard lines of power in the base of them. And there would be a cap, a soft cap at, oh, they changed it every so often. It was 1 million, then 2 million, I think. And so if you wanted anything over 2 million power, you had to work for it. And then we had the auxiliary power and batteries, and it was something else. Now, personally, I think Power 2, lots of people did not like the change to Power 2, but personally, I think it was good for the game in general because it simplified it. Because now instead of saying, oh yes, you have to make this bounding box of power to make it do anything, instead of doing that, you say, oh no, you just have power blocks. The more controversial part of Power 2, I think, is the stabilizers. And I'm still not sold on stabilizers. They're supposed to be cooler than what they are now. They lost some functionality. And at this point, uh, just half the reactor capacity is basically what they're doing. Those have to touch. Okay. So this is an interesting shape I've just been putting as I babble. Huh. I don't know if it's a shape I like or dislike, but it's an interesting shape. And sometimes you just need that, StarMate. Just get you an interesting shape. How big are we? We're 245, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Excuse me, and there is our 250. Okay, so now we need to add in the stabilizers. And stabilizers, oh good grief, remember the kerfuffle that was stabilizers for the beginning of Power 2.1 or 2.0? Ooh, you had to have them a certain distance from the reactors. So that's why they're green. It isn't, that used to be green showed that you get full stabilization. And red showed you didn't have full stabilization. And so this device here would be totally unstable because the stabilizers would not be active because they would be too close to the reactors. And that was interesting. And the way that was chosen to connect them, oh, remember the power sausage? That was a nightmare. And I'm just talking and not looking what I'm doing. Yeah, 60, 70%. There we go. Probably good for now. Well, I called it the power sausage. It was the power conduit. I believe the blocks for it are still in game, although it, thankfully, is not. It was this huge purple tube that went from the reactor to each group of stabilizers. And it was a pain and was dumb. I think you could even shoot it. I was not happy with it. I complained loudly. That's 100%. That is not 200. Why is it 100% if it wasn't 250 stabilizers? That, my friend, is because you get 10 units of stabilization for free. So this is actually running at 110%. And you also used to get bonuses for over stabilization. I don't think you get those anymore. So I was glad when the power sausage died. Although my greatest triumph was the death of integrity. Oh, that sounds awful. No, I actually complained, or the whole Star Squadron complained loudly about integrity, because systems would have integrity, except it was really, really weird to calculate. And people kept telling me the wrong thing and that I was dumb for saying what I was saying. In fact, they were using their argument why they hate Power 2.0 was why integrity was good. So integrity is the more blocks you have together, the higher the integrity. And it needs a certain integrity to run. And if it gets below the integrity, it blows up and becomes destable and all that. And that was a pain because the idea was more blocks together give you more integrity. But if you actually look at my testing, you would find that this line of blocks would have had more integrity than this cube. So when the people are telling me, make cubes, stupid, it was literally not the case. In fact, Star Squadron actually got together with one of the devs and said, this is not right. Here, let us show you. Show you why this is dumb, because this is the way you explain it, and this is how it actually works. And not long after that, both the power sausage and integrity were axed. So that's that. So I may or may not have had a direct hand in the destruction of the integrity of StarMade. Let's see, where am I? I wanted some girder. I'm not going to make the river run joke. My brain just gave up. There it is. Right. So that was just about 15 minutes of me lathering about the good old days. There we go. Here's our internals. And so we have a funky looking power system and room for insides. Okay. One, two, three, four, five, and we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. This is the bounding box for my internals. So when I start doing externals, I don't get I'll get trigger happy and start putting stuff where that shouldn't be. Okay. Well, thank you for taking this trip down memory lane with me. And this almost looks like it's backwards. Like it should be pointing that direction, but it's pointing that direction. You can tell by the arrow at the top. That one there. All right, so I have been JW608. This has been StarMade, and I will dig you cats later. That should really be symmetrical up and down, shouldn't it? We'll work with it later.